Out west, though, the Lakers needed a fourth-quarter rally to squeak out a win against the Pelicans last night. The Pels had an 8-point lead just over halfway through the fourth quarter before the Lakers went on a 14-0 run to take control. Lakers coach J.J. Redick spoke post-game about the comeback win.
Frankly, that's not a win we've had since probably November, where we're down. A lot of those early wins when we started 15-4, we had a number of double-digit deficits in the second half and just stuck with it and kept playing. And it was a good win for our group to be able to do that again.
Yeah, clutch time win. It was good to see the Lakers pull it out. Didn't matter who that was against. Stephen A., is there anything the Lakers can do to convince you that they are a contender this year?
Well, they can play some defense, and they could get DeAndre Ayton to act like he has a pulse. Those two things stand out in my mind. That's not the only thing they could do, but certainly that would go a long way. DeAndre Ayton, he's an island man, He's from the Bahamas and all that stuff. And he is somebody that makes you feel like half the time he's walking on the beach. Or he thinks he's walking on the beach. He's just that lackadaisical, that relaxed. No urgency whatsoever. And you can't have that from a 7-footer with the talent that he has. Nevertheless, it exists. Defensively, what are they? 22nd in efficiency, 26th in field goal percentage allowed. This is not an impressive defense. This is a defense that can barely stop a cold on too many occasions, unfortunately. That puts more pressure on LeBron, AR, and Doncic to be more efficient and to do what they do. And that's unfortunate because I think they have the offensive firepower to compete with anybody. They're number one in the NBA in field goal percentage, so they can make some shots. The issue is that you can't stop others from making their shots. And that's really, really the problem. So I would say defense and a center that has a pulse. That would help.
Shanae.
You gotta come at my man, though. I mean, more productivity.
Go ahead, Monty.
More productivity.
Go ahead, Monty.
What did I say? What did I say, Eminem? What did I say, Eminem? What's the problem with what I said?
You just creatively told the truth, but why we gotta take a shot at the islands? I love being on the islands. I would rather be on an island right now.
No. Hold on. My family, we're from the island. I mean, when I think about the islands, I love it, but I'm just saying, that's where you relax. That ocean air hits you, and it's just beautiful, and it's serene, and it's wonderful. And unfortunately, the Lakers have a center that act like he's chilling in the Bahamas on the beach instead of being on the basketball court at Crypto.com Arena. Yeah. That's the damn problem.
Yeah, no, I get it. That's
not a shot at the islands. That's a shot at him.
Fair. They definitely need more productivity on their interior for sure. I just don't think this team has enough size in general to go to bat in the West. Now, if I had to say what scenario would you buy, I would need them to get somehow on a miraculous run. Then you're starting to look at matchups potentially. But right now, for them being on the outside looking in as far as having to go through that play-in potentially, I just think it's going to be too many games. And we've seen this. What was it, 2 years ago when the Lakers found themselves in a really entertaining run down the stretch, but they basically ran out of gas. So I think they'd have to figure out a way to jump in those standings for me to be like, wait a minute, hold up. Is LeBron James and company turning back the hands of time?
Stephen A., Monty, you guys know that I always like to come on here and be the glass half full and not the glass half empty when it comes to players. But I'm not going to lie. When I was watching the game yesterday, and the Lakers were playing with their food a little bit. The game was closer than it needed to be. There was a stretch where DeAndre Ayton, they gave him a bounce pass that was wide open. A beautiful pocket pass slipped through his hands. Then he got a board, I think an old board, and then got swiped from behind, got blocked from behind. Fortunately, LeBron James still trusted his teammate. And then on the fast break, we were also in the middle of a LeBron James flurry of multiple dunks in fast break. He dishes it out to DeAndre Ayton, who knocks it down and, slams the alley-oop. And I'm like, oh, thank goodness, because I was cringing oh, no, this is just a bad situation when it comes to their bigs. And my answer is that, Again, I played for the Los Angeles Sparks. I understand the city, Los Angeles. It's been embedded in my family. This is my home right now. When you wear the purple and gold, you have the expectation to always say we are going to be a championship team sooner now than rather later. But this is just not the team by design, by construction. It's unfortunate. And you're right. Defense is the biggest issue. The late great Pat Summitt said, offense sells tickets, defense wins games, rebounding wins championships. Contenders can play defense and rebound. the offense, the scoring. That's beautiful. That's sexy. They're currently 28th in rebounding, 23rd in defense. And then when we go to offense, they're 23rd or so in made threes per game, where that's where you're supposed to have some of the best, backcourt. You have LeBron James spotting up. You have Austin Reeves that can create a shot and create for others. And then you have Luka Doncic, who, mind you, I think he's pacing the NBA right now in points. The storyline should be, can Luka take the season and win MVP? But instead, everything is being undersold. So it's hard for me to say that they are contenders, even though they're in the mix and they're solidified right now in the playoff and not play-in.
Yeah, that's
Well, you're not wrong about that. And I think the other thing to bring up is that you mentioned, remember, with LeBron, with AR, and with Luka, they're all scorers, not shooters. Mm-hmm. Like, you can't rely on their three-point shooting to be money. You can rely on them to put the ball in the hole on a frequent basis on night in, night out. But to shoot from three, sometimes it's on, sometimes it's off. That's just the way that it is with them. And when you combine that with the fact that their defense is horrid and that JJ needs their offense because he knows their defense is horrid, that puts even more pressure on the offense to be efficient, which obviously deflates some expectations as well. So all of that stuff works hand in hand.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. LA has the night off tonight. Obviously, they're coming off a win over the Pelicans last night where they rallied late.
I'm so surprised. So surprised. Went over the Pelicans. I'm so surprised. Go ahead.
I loved that.
No, New Orleans Pelicans. First of all, I want to say nothing about what I'm about to say is really directed at the players. Trey Murphy, Sadiq Bey, Zion Williamson. It's got nothing to do with y'all. It certainly has nothing to do with the great Joe Dumars. The only good thing they've done in recent memory, as far as I'm concerned, was hiring that man. Whatever the media department is, social media department, this is directed at y'all. First of all, get your facts straight. 1.5 points, Winston-Salem State. It was actually less than that. I cracked my kneecap in half. I never played, okay? But I got a basketball scholarship that paid for my education. I'll go back to that later. When we sit up there and we talk about these old videos and they try to troll me, I mean, you didn't see me hanging with Straight Shooter? I mean, the lethal shooter himself. Did you show what I was doing when I shot the basketball then? You're going to just bring up an air ball, a bunch of air balls, by the way, that I shot with James Harden years ago in a shirt and tie, instead of pointing out, all the jump shots that I've made in recent memory? We can forget that as well. Because you know what? I'm 58 years old, and I'm not trying to play, but I know what I can do, and I know what I've done. Here's the thing that really, really annoys me about the Pelicans. We heighten our level of sensitivity because I pointed out something about the star on your team and the franchise. And you want to use that as an opportunity to get at me. Very, very bad mistake on your part, because as a franchise, you don't have the credentials. You just don't. But before I even get into that, let me say this, and I want to say this because it's very, very important to the American people that you're watching. You left out a couple of other things. You saw me boxing with a rotator cuff over a decade ago. I looked like trash. You saw me throwing out the first pitch. That was a choke job on my part. Definitely a choke job, all right? You also showed that video. Did you notice that nothing's been deleted? You could scrape that stuff off of Google and stuff like that. Do you notice that no effort has been made? Because I own what I do. And I own what I can't do, and I own what I don't do. And that's the difference between me and y'all. You left something out. And you know what you left out? You left out the fact that I was in the 4th grade and I got left back because I had a 1st grade reading level. And here I am on national television after graduating from an HBCU, going up against Hall of Famers all the time who play professional sports, elite journalists in this business, and me coming from an HBCU is still doing what I'm doing. I don't know if you noticed this or not, but come April, First Take will have been #1 for 14 straight years. 14 straight years. In other words, we win. And on a personal level, did you remember, did you bring up how, I was in bad shape? Did you see that nasty video of me skinny with a pot belly, about 208 pounds, with a cholesterol level over 300, with body fat hovering around 30%? That is not how I look now. That is not how I feel now. I'm 58 years of age, feeling like I'm going on 30. I'm in the best health in my life. Hell, I might even take off a shirt for a scene on the soap operas. That's how good I'm looking. That's how good I'm feeling. That's my life. And at the age of 58, I'm ascending. I'm moving up, okay? In other words, I'm sort of like the American dream. Poor, desolate, struggling, starving. Through the grace of God, the most wonderful mother on the planet, and an individual that stepped up and worked my ass off, I'm at the top of the heap in this profession and getting paid for it, by the way. And by the way, my popularity is more than anybody you got on your team outside of Zion Williamson. Again, not throwing any shade on the players, just giving you facts. Why am I bringing all of these things up, New Orleans Pelicans? Because you can't about you. We are approaching the tail end of the season. We are in the month of March. Nearly 65 games have been played, and you're still searching for your 20th victory. Y'all are